everyone. We'll get started. Sorry for the late start there. Some technology failures there, but we're ready to go. So I'd like to introduce myself. I'm your host, Ben Young. I've been working with Moodle for over 7 years. When I'm not working with Moodle, I like to hit the gym, explore some of the areas of Vancouver, and also ride interesting modes of transportation. Just a quick look at the agenda today. We're going to be taking a look at what is a plugin, and then a lot of consideration of what factors into choosing a plugin. So we have a number of areas to talk about, and only so much time, only 20 minutes. So we'll just go through each one and kind of get a show of hands to see who would like to focus in on some of these areas. If you want to, we also have this PowerPoint slide deck available from our team at the Marketing and Language Solutions on SEO for the copy. So just going through, we have plugins for self-paced learning. And just by show of hands, who's interested in that topic? Okay, there's a few. Then there's plugins for blended learning. A lot there. And there's plugins for compliance training. Okay, so we have some people interested in that. And we also have plugins for automating or helping with user registration, which is also known as authentication in Moodle. Okay. And then we have reporting. Excellent. All right, well, let's carry on. So we'll go through some of these sections a little bit quickly, and we'll spend a little bit more time on some of these other sections. We'll have some time for Q&A again. So what is a plugin? A plugin is a modular piece of software that you're going to be adding into an existing platform. In this case, that platform is Moodle. And the idea behind the software is it's going to extend the functionality of what was normally not there to allow greater capacity to do something. There's over 1,000 plugins on Moodle.org. So this would be a very daunting task to actually figure out what plugins would work best for you. So to help do that, it's always important to consider your goals. What are your goals for your learning? What are your expectations for the learners once they go through? And what kind of learning are you going to be actually using to deliver your training? So first off, we're going to look at your approach. Are you giving courses self-paced, or are you doing blended learning style? So some things to consider when you're using the self-paced courses. Usually learners are going through on their own, which is great because they can digest material at their own pace. But a lot of time and a lot of focus has to be placed on making sure that simplicity is used. So it's really clear and obvious where the user is supposed to go and what they're supposed to do. And they have very good expectations of what they're supposed to be doing in the site. On the other side, we have blended learning. So blended learning usually has social aspects to it. So you're trying to connect with your students, you're trying to connect with your learners. And this usually can involve some social collaboration, group assignments, and ways of booking time with students. So taking a look at this, so the plugins that we've identified to help with self-paced learning, again, keeping the learner on track is the progress bar and the welcome message. So looking at the welcome message, some of the benefits of using this tool, again, it's allowing users to sign themselves up, so you're going with that self-service approach. The nice benefit of this is it does offer a gated approach to allow administrators to receive an email before the account is approved or authorized. So this works really well where you want to have people kind of signing themselves up, but you still want to kind of gate the information or control the flow of users into your site. The configuration options here allow you to have a custom message, and you can determine a few options on how it's going to be sent out or who it's going to be sent out to. Just have a couple of screens there. Yeah, so how it works is the administrator of your site would receive an email, and that email would allow them to click on a link to approve the account that was just registered. And it's very similar to the self-enrollment plugin that comes installed or stocked with Moodle, where a user can go through and sign themselves up in an account and automatically be on the site once they click through the email verification stage. So this is just like an extra step or an extra layer on top of that. The other plugin we have here is the progress bar. And the reason why we chose the progress bar is because of its ability to help keep students on track and see where they're going in the course. A lot of times, students are going in here doing self-paced learning, and they really, get lost, and they need to know what they've done or where they're going. So this bar helps organize them, helps them keep on time, and it helps, keep engaging within your course. In this screenshot, we have the display here of all the users from the students, the instructor's perspective of their progress in the course. We have some general configuration settings here. So as an instructor, you can go through and you can actually check off which items in your course you want to be part of this progress. Looking at blended learning. So again, you're trying to connect to your learners. You're trying to book schedule a time with them. And taking a look at that, there's ways of doing this within Moodle, within real life settings, and also through video conference. Taking a look at the in real life, in-person meetings, kind of like a Moodle Moot, the face-to-face plugin here allows you to set up an event. And your event can run over multiple days, and in that event, you have multiple sessions. So we just have a screen here kind of showing some of the various options you have available. But what this plugin allows you to do is in these sessions, you can set up confirmation messages, you can set up reminder messages, and you can also set up a number of seats. So you can have a set number of people who sign up to your course, but you can also allow a waiting list feature. So if somebody drops out, you have the next person in line from your presentation, your session. So this is a plugin that's great for organizing in-person meetings. I've also seen it used for web conference sessions. Leave this to our next plugin. The plugins. So two plugins we've identified to help with web conferencing is Big Blue Button, which I believe we're broadcasting on right now. Thank you. And we're also identifying Adobe Connect. Something to keep in mind with web conferencing is it usually does rely on an external platform or an external software outside of Moodle. And what the plugins usually allow you to do is they usually allow you to jump from Moodle without having to log back in and automatically be signed into your web conference session. And the nice thing about these plugins is they do have a commonality of usually allowing you to access the recorded sessions. So as an instructor, if you want to connect to your students and offer web conferencing, these are really good plugins to look at because they do leverage that single sign-on approach to allow users to seamlessly move from your Moodle site into your web conference. And in this screenshot, we just have some displays here of what Big Blue Button looks like and some configuration settings that allow you to set up when the sessions are accessible. So looking at plugins for compliance. So considering how some of the training for compliance works is it usually has like a gated feature. You're doing sequential learning. So usually learners have to go through a series of courses and maybe in order before being able to proceed on. So we've identified the sub-course to help with that. A lot of times you want to track learners' progress through the course. So you're interested in attendance or time spent in the course. We've identified the attendance module to help with that. And lastly, when it's all done and said, you want to reward them with a certificate. Let's take a look at some of these plugins. This plugin here is the sub-course plugin. In the first screenshot, you'll see it's actually added to your course as an activity and resides anywhere in your course outline. In this case, we just added it to the very top there. It's kind of hard to see because of the size of the screen here. But what this sub-course plugin is an activity added to your existing course, and it pulls your grades from other courses and uses it as like an activity or a criteria that you can gauge information on. So using another feature in Moodle that's called the restricted access feature, you can actually say that for the students to move on into this course and access the content, they have to achieve a certain grade in the sub-course activity that you've added to your course. This means that before the users move on, you might have to complete other courses before being able to access the content. This is a little bit different. Yes. So this plugin can be added in as an administrator or a Moodle administrator add this in for you. And once it's added in, the instructor could use this plugin. So if they're going to your course, when you turn editing on, it would appear in your list of available activities and you'd be able to add it to your course online. And this is the attendance module. So the attendance module actually has two parts. So it actually acts as a block and it is also an activity that you add into your course. This is the screenshot of the activity here. So on one side, we have the actual attendance being taken, and we have a side where we're jumping to the date for attendance. The attendance plugin is a nice feature because it does allow you to set the frequency of classes. So you have classes running every Friday, you can set it up so it'll continuously run every Friday for a set period. Some of the features allow you to mark people as present, late, you can have absence or an excused absentee. And it also allows you to put in remarks here. So you can actually add comments in like so late and they need to really study harder. Moving into the last option here, which is the certificate option. Usually when everybody's gone through their training, they're feeling like they're confident in the course material they've gone through. You want to award them with a certificate. And to do this, there's the certificate plugin. And what the certificate plugin allows you to do is it allows the administrator to add in the certificate plugin at the very end of the course. You can set it up so the certificate is only accessible after certain requirements in the course are achieved. And the nice thing with the certificate is it automatically generates the user's name dynamically onto the certificate and the course name. And there's a few other fields of information you can enable or disable. Looking at the specific certificate that we have here, we've actually uploaded our own custom background to it. So the certificate plugin does offer the ability of uploading your own custom background, your own actual logos. There's seals and watermarks that you can add into. So you can actually customize the certificate module quite a bit to have your own look and feel. So we're looking at plugins for authentication. So just to kind of step back, what is authentication? What does that mean in Moodle? Usually it's the step of creating accounts in your system and authenticating your password to get something. So there's a number of different ways of doing this. You can have the password and everything stored right within your Moodle system, or you can have it go towards an external system where it's actually pulling the information from there and verifying the passwords from an external database or an external directory of information. So we looked at some plugins, and Moodle has a whole bunch of built-in plugins to help with this, so that's great. But we've identified some plugins to help with this process. And one of them is email-based registration with administrator confirmation. There's also the SAML authentication plugin. So what the email-based self-registration plugin with administration confirmation allows you to do, as mentioned, is it allows you to have an email sent to your administrator once somebody signs up to the site. The SAML authentication, again, is going against the directory service, so a directory of all your students or all your information, and it's using the SAML authentication protocol. A lot of external sites or systems are starting to move towards like that SAML authentication, so this is a plugin that we've identified there. One thing I would recommend is if you have an IT staff or team, that they might need to help out with the SAML authentication because it does require extra configuration or help to do that. So let's jump to reporting. So no matter what your needs are, a lot of times the commonality is reporting. And sometimes with compliance training, your reporting might have different needs or different, I guess, requests or functions that are asked of it. We went around looking at, what people are missing in your LMS. And one of the commonalities was always reporting. So we started to identify plugins that can help with that. And a couple options that are available are the configurable reports. So it's actually displayed right here on the screen. And it's a tool that allows you to build reports based off of presets of information that are kind of joined together within the Moodle site. And the nice thing is that based on these presets of information, you can pretty much pull up any fields that are available on that preset. This plugin also allows you to build SQL query reports if you're interested in going that far in depth. The reporting plugin does have some general charts, some bar graphs, some pie charts available. There's some options to have it so it pulls the actual data from an external database, or you can have it so it's going right from your live Moodle server, so it's ad hoc. One of the other solutions that we identified, or Lambda built to help solve this reporting challenge, is Analytica. And what Analytica is a reporting platform that allows you to have real-time ad hoc reporting. And I'm just going to jump to a slide here. So this is Analytica reporting. And we built a plugin to connect your Moodle site to Analytica, so you can seamlessly go from the one system to the other. And it connects into your Moodle data, and it allows you to do live, real data, like reporting. So just looking at some of the features of Analytica, there's a number of different things you can do with it. You can pretty much gain or pull out any pieces of information you'd like from the system. So that's one aspect of it. The other features of it is there is reporting, report building that you can do. There's also dashboards that you can create, and in a combination of that, when you're looking at the dashboards and information, you can slice and dice your information in many different ways. So in this particular slide, we actually have a couple of different charts that are possible within the system. Everything from your line graphs to your bar graphs and that weird chart thing up there, whatever that is. So one of the other nice features about Analytica is it does work with a drag and drop concept. So you can actually go through and start dragging the fields of information you want right into your report. And one of the options you have is once you have those fields of information in, you can actually start to filter on them. So in the top corner there, we actually have a number of different fields we're filtering by. We have a graph added to this area, and we also have our table of information displaying. So I've added a little bit of a quiz at the end of this. You can actually go to this URL right up here, and you can answer some quick questions, and this will help show you kind of where you fall in terms of your learning approach and some plugins that might be useful or considered to you. Keep in mind, I just kind of added this in. I discovered this interesting site like last night, so I started adding these questions in the last night, like about 12 o'clock. So they're not completely polished, but it could be a really interesting thing to show you some suggestions on some plugins that might be useful for you. So you just go through, follow, I think there's about 5 questions, and then it'll be able to show you the results. It's a really cool, interesting site, and it just kind of has some suggestions there. I'll just do that on the screen for a few minutes. While people are going and doing that, I'm going to open up the session to questions and answers.
There's a question online. For the attendance plugin, can you provide access to other roles, for example, non-editing, teacher, attendance?
Yeah, I believe that would be possible. A lot of the plugins are built with the roles and permission systems in mind, which is great. So you can customize the access to them, and that would probably that would be possible for the roles and permission system. Yes. It hasn't been added to Moodle.org yet. We've actually expected to release Analytica for Moodle in the coming month, so it should be more on that soon. We do have some preliminary testing that we've started to go through. We do have early adopters that we're looking at, and we also have some promotions running for Analytica. So anybody who's attended the conference, there's some options on finding out more on that, and you can always follow up with us a little bit more on Analytica. Yes. Certain plugins to help identify if something's been edited or modified. There isn't a plugin that I'm aware of that does that, although there's a lot of plugins out there. So a good option to always go to is Moodle.org and check their plugin directory to see if there's something that matches that. A couple of plugins that kind of follow similar suit. There is a grade V plugin. So this plugin you can add to your site, and it's a little block that shows up on the side, and it'll actually identify things that need to be graded in your site. So it helps instructors kind of see when there's new submissions going on and when there's actually something to take action on the site. One other thing that I would recommend when it comes to just seeing changes on your site is there is a configuration change log report that actually comes built into your Moodle site. So when you go to site administration, it's under reporting, and you can find a little bit more on there, and it'll actually show you a change history of everything that's in place. Yes?
To answer your question, there's a plugin that's called Moot.
Excellent. It's great to hear. Nice thing about the Moodle community and the plugin page is it does allow for a lot of collaboration, and you can go through and usually see a plugin's comment history You can also see how often the plugin is updating. So if you go to their versions, you can take a look to see if there's been a lot of updates to the plugin. So you can see if it's very active and there's a lot of maintenance going into it, which is usually a good sign of the developers committed to carrying it forward to next Moodle versions. So it's very important. Yeah. I think somebody else had a question. Yes.
Is there any plugin what they want to do?
Yeah. I'm not sure of a particular plugin that would do that, especially through like a content management system approach. I have heard of some themes where they built in features to show alert messages that pop up. So some of the themes on Moodle.org, and there's some really good themes out there, could offer some abilities to have at least a pop-up notification displayed to learners when they're accessing the site. So that might be a good place to start looking. Yeah, if not, there might be some custom developments that would allow for a plugin to be created for that kind of scenario. Do you have any other questions for the day? I think we have a couple minutes left. I don't want to run over my time too much here. Yes?
On the sub-course plugin, where you say you can pull in a final grade from a previous course, it's a multi-stage compliance training. Can you alter the selected release properties for, say, the first course, final grade, and go into the second one, pull that grade, and then there's selected release based on the grade achievement.
Because it is an activity, I think the approach that I would go is I'd add in multiple activities. Let's say if you had 3 or 4 courses that needed to be completed, and each one of those activities you'd allow certain things to be gated within your actual course, with your course content. So you might have, let's say, sub-course activity 1 relating to your course 1, sub-activity 2 relating to course 2, and it just pulls the grades from there, and you're able to selectively release the content based on those courses and their grades. Yeah, exactly. Well, okay, well, if there's no other questions, then thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And we do have an actual ebook here. I'll just grab from my bag that we turned from into an actual paper copy. And I'm just going to auction this off to, I guess, the furthest person who traveled here to get attendance here at Montreal Moodle Moot. I'll auction off this nice little ebook here. Australia? That could be it. That could be it. Yes? Okay, that's pretty far. Okay, so we can come up here and grab this ebook. It's just a comprehensive kind of like summary of what we've covered here in the presentation. If anybody else wants an actual soft copy of it, we do have some handouts there. There's a nice little card that you can go and grab, and it'll allow you to have an access code where you can download the ebook online. Thank you. Have a great day.